Motion of the occiput, so fingers on the mastoid, rotation, then finger on the mastoid and C1 for lateral flexion. And then same on the mastoid for rotation and C1 on the mastoid for lateral flexion. If the patient has a left rotation restriction, I'm gonna have her get down, go further, so she's in my zone. MCP on the mastoid fossa. I'm going to laterally flex my patient in slight rotation, and then my vector is going to be assessing movement of the TMJ. So I'm just going to be putting my fingers on the TMJ area and then have my patient open and shut their mouth. And then if I were to feel restriction of the right TMJ to do long access, I would have my patient lay face up with their right side of their face up. Oh. Okay, now just lay down. So my right side up, I'm just going to be using a piezoform contact on the TMJ. Traction for movement in thoracic spine, specifically T6 for this adjustment. I'm going to have my patient put her hands on her shoulders. Her gown is open in the back. I'm going to first test for extension, and then I do rotation, and then do patient this side. And I'll have you give yourself a hug. And I'm going to have you lean towards me. Feeling for lateral flexion. Lateral flexion. And then I find that T6 is right rotated, left rotated, left laterally flexed. Put my patient lay down. Standing on the side of contact. I'm going to use my caudal hand air claw, starting up and finding the segment, doing clockwise toward my patient. Doing internal and external rotation of the arm right now. So to begin, I'm going to test the non-affected side, looking for any restrictions. The other side, and I see loss of internal rotation. So I'm going to set up doing a grip contact close to the proximal end of the humerus. I'm going to bring my patient through movement with a stretch. So for this one, I'm just feeling for joint restriction of the arm. So I test the other side first. Feeling for loss of movement of the radius. And same on this side. If I find it's restricted, I'm going to bring her arm into pronation with my thumb on the radial head and then adjust. All right, for this one, we're feeling for joint restriction of the wrist carpals. So I'm going to be just feeling for motion in those with my thumbs and fingers over. And if I feel a restriction in flexion, I'm going to create a double finger overlay on the back with my thumbs on the front. I'm gonna have my patient lean away from me and adjust. The TL junction for any restriction. So I'll have my patient put her hands on her shoulders, contact on the back, extend her over, feeling for any restrictions. And then if I find a restriction, I'm gonna have my patient give herself a hug. And then we're just gonna be slowly laying you down for an adjustment, okay? So I'm gonna put my flat hand on the back. Oh wait, we have to flip this. All right, flat hand on the back, and I'll have you slowly lay down for an adjustment. Vector is A to P on that. Internal and external rotation of our patient's hip. So we're just feeling
fibular head motion, so patient's face down.
Internal, external rotation of both legs.
Just pulling back on the fibular head. If I don't feel
And
that
then if I feel
motion,
restriction on
take my piezoform
of
contact,
internal rotation on the patient's right leg, I would do
shoulder,
the wax on,
pull out.
and then in tug of war position, motioning the fibular head. So I'm at my patient knee at 90, doing a reinforced thumb, pushing over, pulling anterior, both legs. And then if I find a restriction, I'm going to have my patient flip over. And then if it was on the right, I'd be on my patient Patient's right side. Leg on my shoulder, Heisen form on the fibular head. I'm gonna be kneeling on the ground, reinforced contact. I'm going to slightly lift and distract, pulling on. Now we're gonna be testing motion of the big toe using the corkscrew method. So I'm gonna put her foot in here and just distract, going dorsal to plantar, plantar to dorsal, rotation, and just keep doing those motions until the clicking stops.